Which of the following is true about required licenses? A. In Mobile, Alabama, a license is required to wear a suit of armor in public. B. In the state of Massachusetts, fortune tellers must be licensed. C. In Cheyenne, Wyoming, a license is required for dog walkers walking 4 or more dogs. Or D. In the state of Rhode Island, children with lemonade stands must obtain a health permit. I was thinking about Mitt Romney. I wonder if his parents would bust in on him and his siblings and he were putting together imaginary bill passing sessions using their action figures. You think you're pretty smart, don't you, John Quincy Adams? Well, wait till you get a hold of my filibuster.
If I've just chased down and wrestled a Crisco slathered hog, I don't need the bacon prize. I need a hobby.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
So let's talk about not so fun in games.
When we were growing up, there was practically no entertainment whatsoever. When we were younger, we used to play hide and seek and tag.
It's three channels. 4 if you counted UHF, which I did.
Yeah, if you
Benny Hill, you got to see some tits.
if you put aluminum foil on the rabbit ears and leaned your head sideways and smacked your brother, you might be able to get 45
Yeah.
or a cat chest peek. But forget video games. We were stuck with board games. Was there ever a game of Monopoly played that took less than 4 hours to finish? When we played with my kids, my daughter would always end up bursting into tears and stomping off the bed every time.
To be fair, 4 hours is a long time when you're 9 or 11. I mean, to suddenly have victory snatched from you, I mean, I kind of can see that.
It's like, all right, pay up.
No.
I learned more about basic human greed from playing that game. Obedient housewives became oil tycoons and robber barons going around that board. Hey up, you bastard. Park's Place rent just went up. And don't think I won't evict your ass. Get out of my hotel.
Oh, Mom, I just wanted some animal crackers. An interesting thing happened in the early 80s. The toy company started selling Opolis based on pop culture. They have a John Wayne Opoly. I have no idea how it works. But here's what I'm picturing. Something like, well, Pilgrim, looks like you landed on the Snake Eye Cat House. It's a great time, but that'll be $500 payable directly to Veronica. And she's packing more than a pair of garters, believe me, pal. They had Kiss Opoly, Back to the Future Opoly, Big Bang Theory Opoly, even Dale Earnhardt Opoly. I think a Kardashian or Hollywood Housewives Opoly would be a good bet. Selfie of your ass didn't turn out. Lose a turn. Starbucks is out of soy latte. Go back to start. Or my personal favorite, husband catches you in bed with pool boy. Pay $1,000. Instead of like little top hats and irons as the tokens, it could be like mini Zoloft bottles and overpriced fraps.
Trivia Pursuit. There's another marathon game to show us how collectively stupid we are. I used to hate the pink questions or entertainment that were so not entertaining. This booth announcer appeared on ABC's very, very late movie for 37 years before passing away in a tragic unicycle accident in 1988. Similarly, Trivial Pursuit started putting out new editions based on pop culture. They weren't having any luck in the late 80s with editions like 1988's Trivial Pursuit Extreme, Smarter Than God, and Trivial Pursuit Eggheads from Planet Brainiac. Editions flopped completely.
Didn't do well at all.
I mean, who wants to play a game that feels like you're taking your GMATs again, right? Trivial Pursuit, passing the bar exam.
Not much fun for me. So they eventually started branching out in the most curious ways. In 1997, they dropped an edition based entirely on Star Wars. So then the whole family can argue about where the gear shift is in a land speeder or how many teeth an adult Sarlacc has. How about Trivial Pursuit St. Elmo's Fire Edition? Parenthetically entitled 101 Ways the Brat Pack Tries to Fuck Each Other. By the time we got to the 2000s, Trivial Pursuit had gone off the rails. Lord of the Rings Trilogy Edition, Globetrotter Edition, Book Lovers Edition, and Kids Nickelodeon Edition were all introduced so that we could all make fun of Dad for not knowing Phineas and Ferb's pet ferret's name.
I wonder if they got slime with the Nickelodeon version.
Because the slime comes off the board.
They do have a classic rock edition that came out in 2011, but I have this weird feeling all of the questions are going to be about Lou Graham's favorite yogurt flavor or some such shit. I'd like one where an entire slice of the pie is based on pellets utilized by Blue Oyster Cult and Coverdale plastic surgery events.
Action figures were a great way to pass the time when we were kids. I had tons of them. $6 Million Man, Stretch Armstrong, Kiss, G.I. Joe. I was thinking about Mitt Romney. I wonder if his parents would bust in on him and his siblings and he were putting together imaginary bill passing sessions using their action figures. You think you're pretty smart, don't you, John Quincy Adams? Well, wait till you get a hold of my filibuster.
For girls, it was Barbies. You would spend about 20 minutes to half an hour just getting the clothes on them.
Mm.
And then we only had one Ken doll. So, of course, the plot was always to fight over the one Ken doll. It's kind of bizarre. I don't know
To be Ken.
I don't know why we only had one. We only ever had one.
Yeah.
The thing about playing with action figures back then was there wasn't much action. You could sort of wiggle their arms and legs a little, maybe rotate the head. He-Man, my power is beyond your understanding. Remember the He-Man cartoons in the early 80s? Skeletor always seemed like a failed nightclub comic to me because no matter how many times his plans are foiled, he's always laughing.
The dragons failed to overtake Castle Grayskull, and it's all your fault, Beast Man. Now get back to polishing my codpiece. Yeah, that was a good one.
He didn't even have a maniacal laugh.
But the best thing about the show was the more you know tips they sneak into the end. He-Man would talk about the importance of honesty. Orko would give us advice on being kind to animals. Tila would share the pitfalls of gossiping too much. But the best one was the character Ram Man. When he talked about his superpower and how it's really not a good idea to go around headbutting things. Want to talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week, straight to you, is yet another Doomfest find by us. It's with the Las Vegas-based desert rock band Sonolith. We have a great time with Alex, Adam, Ian, and Ben about the history of the band, how they developed their signature low-tuned heavy style, and what they mean by their motto, low vibration music for high vibration humans. So stay tuned for that. Let's play a song. This is Necromancing the Stone.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get an adorable scooter complete with banana seat and a card and spokes full of Mark and Stace.
Yes, you know, those Chewy bills are forever getting higher now that someone thinks that he's a star. So definitely.
He's not bringing in a lot of sponsorship money, so we need your help.
Yeah, we definitely need your help. Have a lot of shows coming up too. Death Fest is always horribly expensive, as well as some other things we have coming up. We do have 2 shows coming up for I guess they're both for the other podcast, but we have to get some rock and roll in there too at some point. Dead Congregation and Black Raid for the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast, which, if you don't know, is our other show that we alternate weeks between this show and that show.
Right. So if you find yourself feeling empty and disconnected every other week, subscribe to the Decay podcast, because then you'll have Mark and Stace every week and you'll be a happy camper. I mean, that was the way we designed it. So, I mean, even if you can't handle the black metal or the death metal, at least you'll get to hear about things like T-Rex racing and our madcap view on life.
So you got that. So remember to get over to Patreon. It's very inexpensive to support us, less than you would spend at Starbucks. So consider helping the show out. And in addition, once you do that, you're also helping support the underground bands that we promote here on the show.
However, I do recommend that you go to Starbucks right now because it's time. And it's time well spent compared to
Luce, you're gonna have to help me.
hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, obnoxious trivia question number 1. We will learn nothing today. Which of the following is true about required licenses? A, in Mobile, Alabama, a license is required to wear a suit of armor in public. B, in the state of Massachusetts, fortune tellers must be licensed. C, in Cheyenne, Wyoming, a license is required for dog walkers walking 4 or more dogs. Or D, in the state of Rhode Island, children with lemonade stands must obtain a health permit.
I've always wondered about those shady lemonade stands. I don't think you need a license for a suit of armor. At least we never did at the Renaissance Fair, and I'm sure have seen people in armor. Fortune teller seems kind of dumb. You'd be licensed. What do you license? Their ley line ability? I'm gonna go with C. Seems kind of ridiculous, but maybe you have to have a dog walker's license so they don't pull over several cafe tables.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
It was actually B.
Really?
You really do have to have. They consider fortune tellers to be like hairdressers in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, who has borne the brunt of the king's tyranny. Anyway, yeah. I think John Adams came up with that.
Luce, you didn't help me.
All right, Luce, you're not helping. Obnoxious trivia number 2. According to Statista.com, which of the following yearly consumption statements is actually true? A, the average person eats 19 fruit stickers a year. B,
Possible.
between 2010 and 2019, America's ingested 7,149 Christmas decorations. C, people in the town of Butte, Montana swallow more marbles on average than any other town, 217 per year. Or D, Frank Bevacue's book, I Swallowed a Screw, What Should I Do? No, in 1987, made the New York Times bestseller list.
I'm sorry, you're screwed. Little air pain.
We're learning nothing.
God. All right. They all sound kind of plausible, except for the 1,149 Christmas decorations. I don't know how you're ingesting Christmas decorations, unless you're
7,149.
well, unless you're mistaking them
It
for
was over a 9-year period, though.
But still, I mean, who's eating their Christmas ornaments? Unless they all look like candy canes. They're like, damn it, that's not a candy cane. I don't know. I'm going to go with the most ridiculous one because that usually seems like it. I'll go with C, about the marble swallowing. Apparently, they don't have a lot going on in Montana.
I'm sorry, that's correct.
Oh my
It
God.
was actually the Christmas decorations. It's B. Yeah.
Do people get drunk and it's like that Christmas ball?
7,140. That website has a whole list of things that people ingest, and you wouldn't believe what's on there. I mean, that was like way at the bottom of the list. I mean, just because it's over a 10-year period.
I'm going to go all Ozzy Osbourne and bite the head off this angel.
But the myth about that we eat 18 spiders a year, that's completely debunked. Like all over the internet, it's like maybe we don't eat any spiders. No. I don't know who would make that up. Like I heard that all my life that sleep with your mouth open because spiders crawl. I mean, anyway, okay. Number 3, you're over 2 so far.
Right.
Which of the following movies bankrupt their studio? A, Beverly Hills Ninja, 1987. B, Diner, 1982. C, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo from 2005. Or D, The Right Stuff, 1983.
Diner won some awards. The Right Stuff won some awards. So that would tell me that they made money, I'm gonna guess. So I'll go with Beverly Hills Ninja because I think that really sucked up big time.
I also love Chris Farley, but you are incorrect. The Right Stuff. The Right Stuff cost way more to make than it made. And it did win awards, but they lost like $7 or $8 million. So the production company went bankrupt.
Wow.
Yeah. So that just goes to show, even if the critics like it, you got to get butts in the seats. If there's not butts in the seats.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to melt down that Oscar. Hand it over.
The Right Stuff. I was reading who was in that. I never saw it. It was like the space movie,
I
right?
did back in the day.
A ton of stars in that. That's probably why they spent so much. So, okay. Number 4. Here we go. Let's round it out. According to NOMS magazine, which of the following is true about milk? A, milk was banned in Austria in 1913, which led to the rise of underground milk bars. B, farmers who called their cows by name saw increased milk production. C, the band Milk Drunk formed in Tacoma, Washington in 2019 and plays hardcore punk. Or D, during the 1980s, 19% of missing children on milk cartons were actually recovered.
God, again, so many seem plausible. This is really a quandary. I don't think there would be underground milk bars and milkshake mixing stations. I think that's kind of
Remember
ridiculous.
Clockwork Orange?
All right, I'm going to say D. During the 1980s, 19% of missing children on milk cartons were recovered.
Go for 4.
Oh my God.
The answer is B. Farmers who call their cows by name saw increased milk production.
See, I thought that was too simple.
They like to be talked to. They like to be
Yeah.
talked to. Cows are very sensitive, apparently. Yeah, right there, right. I like the band Milk Drunk. I think Milk Drunk would be a great name. Yeah. That does sound like something that I'd see in Razor Cake, Milk Drunk. And I'd be like, God, see, people say all the good names are taken. There's a great one right there. Okay, Obnoxious Trivia. We learned nothing and Stace got none right. Okay, it's time for our Snaggletoon. And we're going to talk about weird phrases like bring home the bacon. Bring home the bacon is one of those phrases with about 12 different origin stories, most of them sounding like folklore. And of course, later Madison Avenue ads turned into she can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never ever let you forget you're the man. But forgetting, really? I mean, let's get real. I may forget where I put my car keys, but the fact that I have a dick, let's just say I rarely need reminding.
One story says it goes way back, like 12th century England. In Great Dunmow, Essex, married couples who could swear they hadn't argued for a year and a day were awarded a side of bacon. A filch of bacon, to be precise. This is one of the worst game show ideas in history ever. No one knows why the extra day was required. Maybe it was to account for leap years? I guess if he happens to leave the toilet seat up on day 366, the acquisition of the pork is in serious jeopardy.
And the tradition was famous enough that Chaucer mentioned it in his short story, The Wife of Bath's Tale, around 1387. I mean, if Chaucer thought bacon was worth writing about, it had cultural legs or hawks.
Another wild theory ties it to those capture a greased pig contests at county fairs. You chase the pig, you catch the pig, and boom, the bacon is yours. Although personally, if I've just chased down and wrestled a Crisco slathered hog, I don't need the bacon prize, I need a hobby. But the version that really stick lands in 1906 when the mother of African American boxer Joe Gans sent him a telegram right before the championship fight, telling him to bring home the bacon. He did so, winning the match, shared the prize money, and the story made national headlines. Sports reporters loved it, and suddenly, bring home the bacon didn't mean a greasy pig, it meant cold, hard cash.
I was thinking, wouldn't it be ironic if Gans's mother was being literal and she was just looking for something to go with the omelets she was making? Joe, can you hurry? The eggs are getting cold. What's going on? So yeah, whether it's Chaucer's Pork Domestic Bliss Award, Greased Pig Rodeo, or Gans's mother just trying to hype up her son, we can all agree Bring Home the Bacon has always been about being salty and successful. I mean, Bring Home the Tofu doesn't sound nearly as cool despite being much lower in cholesterol. How about this one? Ride in the gravy train is one of those American phrases that sounds like a lot more fun and way messier than it really is. I picture a giant steaming gravy boat on wheels, sloshing down sauce over the sides, while some poor intern slips around yelling, "We're running out of biscuit ballast."
But of course, it doesn't mean that. The phrase popped up in the early 20th century from railroad slang. Back then, gravy was a word for easy money, like a little bonus you weren't expecting. So if you were riding the gravy train, it meant that you'd landed one of those cushy gigs where you get paid a lot and don't have to actually break a sweat, like Maytag repairman or kosher certifier.
Still not the best. The best rail-related phrase came from Looney Tunes. What a way to run a railroad. I use that 8 times a week at work.
Chock full feels like one of those outdated expressions your grandma might use to describe the attendance at the jitterbug competition. These days, it usually means a room packed with people or a junk drawer groaning at the hinges with coffee machine warranty cards, IKEA Allen wrenches, and empty tape dispensers. The phrase goes way back, like 14th century back, most likely inspired by closets packed with girdles, hoop skirts, and decorative pantaloons.
And the spelling, forget it. Back then, it was written all like medieval. Chocofol, which sounds like a red light district in Odin or some shit. Thor was spotted buttoning his trousers yesterday, emerging from the chocofol. And then, of course, the Brits had to swoop in and class it up with chock-a-block. Because leave it to the Brits to make it all whimsical and rhymey. Nigel, the pub was chock-a-block with patrons. How droll of you, Dr. Seuss.
But here in the States, when you say chock full, half the room thinks of chock full of nuts coffee, which, by the way, is the biggest scam ever. I've had it. There are no nuts, not even a pity pecan. Turns out it was named after a Depression era nut shop that ditched the nut business when prices spiked and pivoted to coffee. Which is wild. Like if Dunkin' Donuts just said, yeah, forget donuts. We're Dunkin' Meatloaf now. But don't worry, we're keeping the donuts part in the name because, donuts bring in more people, and that gives them false hope. And the name stuck. Chock full of nuts. It makes it sound like every can comes with a sack of nuts. Even the jingle skips the nut and promises no mention of cashews or peanuts. Just that heavenly coffee. Heavenly, sure. Nutty, not so much. Chewing the fat is one of those old-timey sayings that basically means small talk gossip, chit-chat, neighborhood intel. It's not as dramatic as spilling the beans or spilling the tea. Like, chewing the fat is when you're talking about your neighbor's weird lawn gnome collection. Spilling the tea is when you reveal that your neighbor secretly likes to dress as a gnome.
Now, the most repeated explanation traces the phrase back to 19th century sailors. They were given salt pork on long voyages, and the stuff was way beyond beef jerky tough to the point of like chewing on a Michelin radial. So they'd gnaw away at these rubbery chunks of fat, and naturally they'd start chatting to pass the time. Hey, you can only swab the poop deck for so long. Another theory says that it came from 16th century rural life. Families with fatty pork cuts would hang them in the parlor to show off their wealth. Then they'd invite neighbors over, serve up little slices, and everyone would sit around chewing fat and talking.
Sounds quaint, right? Yeah, except it's total BS. A hoax. Why? I don't know. Someone in 1999 had way too much free time, wrote a fake article called Life in the 1500s, and the internet swallowed it whole. People spread it around like a game of telephone because apparently we'll believe anything if it comes with a rustic sounding backstory. Fact checking to be damned. So, the real explanation? Pretty boring. Folks flapping their gums in conversation kind of looks like chewing. That's it. No pork aristocrats, no salty sailors, just mouths moving, which honestly feels like the internet in a nutshell. We'll ignore the simple truth because we'd rather enjoy some tall tale about secret pork parlor society.
I can't take it anymore. Let's hear Under the Torturer's Attention. Okay, let's talk about Imperfect Foods.
Imperfect Foods is a lovely save the planet and get your groceries as well company. They've recently partnered with Misfit Markets. They do have cat products too, but I usually order those
He
from
wants
Chewy.
us to do Chewy, but
Yeah.
they're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor, Lush. But anyway, we got some delicious things this week. In fact, they have this great shrimp I made into a shrimp salad today. Easy peasy. I can give you my recipe, maybe on Patreon.
I need to tell you that something important happened this month. We became a double air fryer couple.
Yes.
We now have two because there was actually a couple of times last month where Stace had to turn on the oven, whatever that means. So I have them labeled Dorothy 1 and Dorothy 2, and yes, they both fly.
Up there this week, we already ate the blue corn puffs. They also have some lovely protein.
It wasn't
meats.
we, it was me.
Oh.
I like confiscated them.
I was like,
and-
were we robbed? We also got some habanero cheddar, which is absolutely divine. We got some goat cheese up there, as well as you can get staples like tuna, pasta sauce. They even have a whole bakery section if you're into that kind of thing. You can get wine on there.
We actually, it's kind of like a little mini celebration whenever Imperfect shows up because Stace like shows me off everything that she gets. Yeah, that's great.
And we're always very happy to get their snacks. Their toffee almonds are absolute crack. I love their snacks, stuff you can't find anywhere else. We really liked, I made ground lamb gyros the other weekend. They were really, really good.
Yeah.
So use our link. It will save you off your first order, and you too will have your groceries delivered right to your door.
Yeah, exactly. And this time for Collecturbation, this one's a little extensive. So
Watch your face.
watch out, watch your face. This week we're going to talk about Celldweller's fairly recent issue of his first album, but the definitive edition.
You could say you're not familiar with the artist known as Clayton or Celldweller, but chances are you're lying to yourself. Over the last couple of decades, his music has been featured in Hollywood blockbusters like Deadpool, RoboCop, and Bad Boys 2, and in games like Enter the Matrix and The Fast and the Furious. I've always thought of him as an industrial metal Steve Jobs. After a few years of dues playing in his Circle of Dust and working with magician Chris Angel, it seems like his vision was clear from the very beginning.
The scarlet mohawked cyber traveler image, his epic sci-fi album themes, and his incredible music, which seamlessly blends the organic with the synthetic, were all very much ahead of their time. His label Fixed has become a who's who of exciting cyber metal and industrial artists. Lately, he's been busy pimping some seriously badass vinyl reissues of his back catalog, but this album celebrates his 2003 breakthrough, the self-titled Celldweller. Let's hear a little of Frozen.
One motion of a wanding eye strips everything away. This one moment is intensified and the colors all fade to gray. Inside this fantasy, it seems so real to me. Synthetic ecstasy when the legs are open.
Knife-like detuned guitars, ride analog and digital percussion, synths and sine waves bubbling impossibly dark, and hooky melodies. Clayton roars, whispers, and pouts with a vocal style all his own, his leather larynx occasionally sparring with female accompaniment. The army of engineers and collaborators suggests years of musical experimentation. Performances and recording experience went into the fabric of this debut, which earned well-deserved accolades from seemingly everyone at the time of the release. 6 sides of music, which includes the remastered original, plus a handful of remixes and goodies. The material flashes by quickly, Celldweller typically offering up twinkling rave fits like Symbiont and I Believe You, brooding guitar heavy cornisms like Stay With Me Unlikely or Under My Feet, and the aforementioned duets like the filter-informed Frozen, which features some sexy call and response from Fluffy Star. Yeah, no, me either.
The disc's crown jewel is a 7+ minute suicide smash, The Last Firstborn. Tense razor wire riffs repeatedly soaring straight into bass pumping clubland and out the back door again. A dope combination of bubblegum playfulness and industrial hate akin to the glory days of Wax Trax records with a bright new paint job. Clayton's stuttering cyber swagger on this track is a must-hear with headphones. Poppy and mainstream, while angry and heavy, and just about every cut will get you grooving in your seat. Proof that there is intelligent life beyond the Trent Reznors and Rob Zombies of the world. Let's hear a little switchback.
I've made a choice that I regret. Now what I see is what I get. It's too late to look back. I've got no way to switch back. It's too late to look back. Ain't okay, I've got no way to switch back. Switch back.
Okay, why don't you see the interview?
Like I said, this was our second find this year at Maryland Doomfest. They blew the door off that back room, and we'll talk a little bit about our questions about how they pulled off such a flawless performance. And also, it was great to have everybody on the call. Really enjoyed this band. To me, this is an excuse to go to Las Vegas, as if we needed
As
it.
if we needed one. Let's get into it with you guys. According to the Metal Archives, you were founded in 2012. I guess what was the catalyst that spurred the 2 full-length albums and the EP since 2019?
Guys
Yeah.
have been like, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so 2012 was like the earliest possible iteration of the band. We there was another drummer that I was working with originally named Brendan, really great guy, and we did a lot of like writing and conceptualizing and just sort of like there was a lot of moving parts until things crystallized into what would become Sonolith. And then after that, Sage was the next member in the band, and he came in right when we were finishing up writing and recording Voidscapes. So the first album was just like a sort of previous iteration of the band members, and then the Voidscapes and Up is this group here.
Yeah, they were like a 2-piece for a while. Then like Sonolith had different bass players, and then I came in at the very end of 2019, I think it was, Alex.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then the pandemic happened, so that's when we ended up actually they had been writing Voidscapes, or what turned into Voidscapes, and then during that whole pandemic time when we were off, Alex and I recorded pretty much the whole damn thing except for the drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the way that we went on into 3 also. We recorded the drums with a local guy here named Cody from Asteroid M Records. And then the rest of us at the lead of Sage, he's got a bunch of really great professional recording equipment and knowledge about recording. And so we just kind of did the rest of it ourselves at his place.
I can't imagine what the pandemic must have been in Las Vegas, because I know at the time I was working for a restaurant. We couldn't be open and couldn't have inside seating.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
for a
do.
while, this whole place was like fucking zombie apocalypse land. Barbed wire fencing, everything boarded up.
It destroyed the
pretty
economy
crazy.
out here.
Yeah.
Is what
Yeah.
it did. I remember the weirdest thing. Like I rode my motorcycle up Las Vegas Boulevard up the Strip, and like Sage is saying, it was me and like a bunch of cops that were guarding the entrance of hotels. It literally felt like a zombie movie. It was crazy.
Yeah, I would never normally take my dogs down onto the Strip because there's just so many people and a bunch of idiots. But when a couple weeks after everything shut down, we, my wife and I, took them down, and we like snuck into a parking lot, and we walked up and down the Strip, counted 15 people, and it was security guards and homeless people. That was it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dead
wow.
zone.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on. I work at a restaurant too, and the whole Palazzo, they called me on Patrick's Day, and they're like, "Hey, you're not coming to work tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, so it's really going down like that? That stinks." So, yeah, Vegas was really at a standstill, and we're at everybody's mercy until we reopened. It was really frustrating for a while, for sure.
Yeah, when we first got back and got to do carry out, I worked for a small family-owned restaurant. We were selling draft beer in like the big soup containers. Just get it out.
Yeah.
They're like, "Can we drink it in the parking lot?" I'm like, "No one cares. There's no rules anymore. We don't care."
Yeah, right.
So did any of you have formal training, or maybe a crazy jazz drumming teacher, or
That sounds like an Ian question.
That's an Ian question, yeah.
I was playing electric bass guitar for a while, and my band director was a DCI drum corps. He marched drum corps and a jazz musician, and he just really molded me into the player I am today. And he really sat me down and showed me a lot about the purpose of drums, not just what it's for, but why. Like, why is a ride cymbal heavier and bigger than this cymbal? Why do we tune our drums higher in jazz and lower in metal? Like, I asked a lot of questions and I got a lot of answers and I got application. And when I started marching, that's when everything opened up for me. Like, I really started being able to keep time and understanding polyrhythms and understanding things that really not just to make you play good, but how you can help elevate music. Because the drums at the end of the day are there to help elevate a song. The drums do sound beautiful to me, but to most people, it's racket. They hear big bangs and splashes, and like, what's that? And when you play it with a band like these guys who write such beautiful music and everything like that, it really elevates your playing personally.
I thought I'd
Couldn't
put
agree more.
jazz in there somewhere. I was just hoping you wouldn't have whiplash.
Yeah.
No.
I
I asked my
actually
teacher
wasn't-
about that movie.
I actually was in a jazz band in junior high and high school too before I started playing guitar. So played saxophone.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The guitar go burr.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Ben. He's
Solid.
very nice, but Ben is a very solid guitar player, and he has a good ear. And he came right into the band, and within 2 weeks, he's like, "Okay, I'll be at your next show. I'll play with you guys." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
That's basically
worked
how
out
it is.
great.
You're gonna know the songs. He goes, yeah.
One day I will learn them, I promise.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember like the first time you picked up a guitar and maybe what was the first song that you learned, if you remember?
I know mine. It was Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Of
Oh,
course.
wow.
Yep, I got to be that guy.
Yeah, interesting.
You know, that's probably one of the albums that made me want to start playing guitar, like that time frame. Metallica Black Album. I know that's not their, their most hardcore album, but it really
Yeah, but
was
we
a time
came of
frame.
age. We came of age when that album came out. So
Yeah. Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Faith No More. Faith No More was a huge influence for me. Yeah.
We were jamming them a lot on tour when we were going out to Maryland too. I remember he played
Yeah.
the whole Faith No More album too. They do have a lot of. I heard some songs I'd never heard from Faith No More when you guys were playing their stuff, so I really got to appreciate them a lot more too, for sure. But my mom definitely liked that era of music too. Like my mom was like, Metallica's Black Album is a great album. Nevermind is a great album, and you should listen to this. And my older brother too. He always had CDs.
Ian, are you saying we like dad rock now?
We are dad rock.
Yeah.
Gotta
fun.
appreciate all the goodies.
Yeah.
I love it when you turn the radio on and they're talking about classic rock and it's Nirvana. And I'm like, really? Are we allowed to cuss on this show? I don't know. I'm trying to keep it clean. So
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, you
All right,
just
cool.
be yourselves. Yeah, it's fine. I don't like it when you turn on classic rock radio and they're playing the Goo Goo Dolls and shit. That's when I
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't want to hear the Goo Goo Dolls in general.
Fair.
And I'm from Buffalo too. Like I don't want to please them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So can you expand on your tagline? How what's it? Low vibration music for high vibration humans. Who came up with that one?
That was me. That one was me. We had some stuff before about like wizards in outer space and joints, or I don't know, some like stereotypical stoner rock, stoner doom shit. So I kind of came up with that different thing just because it sort of encapsulates what we're trying to do. It's like, all of our guitars are down tuned. We have a very heavy, low frequency sort of sound going on with all of our instrumentation. And then also too, we just want to like, one of the coolest things about this subgenre of metal is that when you go to these live shows, it's like a community event. People are very supportive. They're very friendly. People from all across the country and even all across the world, they know each other. They stay in contact on social media and they come to these events to socialize and to be a part of the same music that they love. It's so much less clicky than some of the other music scenes I've been involved with.
Yeah.
And people are just really cool. So, high vibration humans. And then also too, there's, the double entendre with weed and stuff. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So from the first time hearing you, we branded you the Doom the fucking champs. I mean, it was dead on for me.
Totally. Yeah.
And then when we saw you both had albums 3, I was like, wait, I think we're onto something.
Yeah. Exactly. The numbered albums. Yeah.
So did you decide to just forego a vocalist from the get-go, or was there some point you thought, well, maybe we'll add him, but then we were like, we don't need a vocalist at all?
Well,
All of the
strangely
above.
enough, yeah. I was gonna say, strangely enough, those are all true. we're actually going to start having some tastefully placed minimal vocals on our next release, I think. So there's a little foreshadowing nugget for you guys.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, no, it was just really a factor of I was in punk rock bands back in the past, and so I was able to sing and play guitar in those bands. It's a very different sort of a execution of vocals. But anytime that I would try to put vocals to the music that we've been writing, it just in the past, it just wasn't at the caliber that I wanted it to be to really fit how good I felt like the music was. So, I've been doing a little practicing, and I'm going to keep doing a lot of practicing, and there's going to be some vocals on the next album. But yeah, and also too, I think like lyrically, sometimes it can be divisive, like, or even sonically, like, so, you could have people that say, man, I really love this music, but then as soon as the singer comes in, it's like, it loses it for me, but it could be vice versa too. There's a lot of people that say, this music's really great, but what would really elevate it to the next level is having some vocals. So I guess the moral of that story is it's hard to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And plus we're kind of Goldilocks when it comes to vocals, because like there's so many different types of vocalists that could sing over this, and not all of it would be great or proper. And it's funny because every show, it doesn't matter where we are, there's going to be one person's like, oh, you guys, what kind of vocals? I can hear this kind of vocals over the thing, and blah blah blah. So we've had like the Matt Pike type guy, like that suggestion, the freaking Neil Fallon type guy, that suggestion. We've heard black metal screaming people. I'm like, really? Okay. Everyone has their own opinion on what should be going over the music, and we've never really figured out that specifically. So I think on the next release, like Alex was saying, there's going to be that is going to be figured out. Now, again, like not everywhere, vocals everywhere, not, going from 0 to 100, but tastefully placed, well done. Just more additive, I would say, layered, because we layer a lot in the music. So all it goes, guitar layers, bass layers, whatever it is. But the vocals will definitely be another layer. Could be overt, could be subtle, yet to be determined. But
I'm just going to say, a lot of the bands that we like, it's almost like the vocals are just another instrument in the band. They're not such a like overriding focal point of everything that the other stuff gets lost. So we hope to achieve something like that.
Yeah.
And on that point too, we were very described as a cinematic band. Like we really can put a feel, and a lot of people can put things to their head of what they're hearing. My mom came to see us play at the dive bar in Las Vegas randomly, and that's the first thing she said. She goes, I can hear that in a movie trailer. I can hear that like a climax of like a fight of a movie or like something like that. And she was very inspired by that. And I just remember taking it away. And then I really kind of re-listened to the band's discography again from that perspective. And I was like, yeah, I really can feel that too. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The vocals are going to be cool. And I know it's going to be great because as a drummer, you can kind of play along to syllables and consonant sounds and make cool rhythm with it. But I also like the fact that we could just write long, cool, melodically filled instrumental tracks as a band too. So that's definitely not going anywhere either, though.
And I don't know why Ben hasn't talked yet, because we're gonna make him do backup vocals. He doesn't have a choice. He's asked to do it.
He's got a better singing voice than a speaking voice, I guess.
Well, yeah, maybe better singer than guitar player. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
we kind of pick on Ben a lot. He's the new guy in the band. He always will be. I mean, really, with this lineup, so he gets the brunt of the jokes, and luckily he's got broad shoulders. He can carry it.
He does.
The band didn't really start until 2023 when I joined.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You were the missing piece.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
It's okay, Ben. I'm at work right now, so if I wasn't able to be on, I'd be the one getting my shit talked about. So it's okay. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are so layered right now as is. I end up singing along to the riffs and going,
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. We don't want to kill that vibe either. And I've heard feedback from people that they say they like listening to it when they're driving or when they're working or they're like working on art or doing other projects because of the instrumental nature of the music. It's not obtrusive on what they're doing. So we don't want to lose that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already really good. So speaking of 3, this is your first numeric title. So what kind of inspired this time around?
Because there's 4 guys in the band now.
That's it. Nailed it. Yeah. It's our 3rd release technically, but our 2nd release was an EP. So after I did all of the artwork, someone brought it to our attention. I think it was actually JJ.
It was JJ.
He was like, JJ from the Obelisk was like, strangely enough, it's labeled 3 when it's their second EP, and I was like, oops. But yeah, so we just figured we'd go with it since we'd already named it, and plus too, the candles are kind of fucking cool. So there's that.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
I think
No,
Sonolith,
What was that?
I think Sonolith is the perfect name for you guys because it sounds like big wall of rampart of sound. And who came up with that? That's such a perfect name.
That was my name that I came up with. That's what the band's we've had Sonolith since 2012. That's why I feel like it's fair to even claim that established date. But yeah, it's just a portmanteau. I always liked the name Sonic Youth, like more indie, obviously more in the indie rock genre. But so then I was like, what could be like a stoner rock doom? I was trying to think of a band name that was one word. So a lot of the one word type things that are sort of cool have been taken. So I was like, okay, well maybe if I, do a Benifer.
Yeah.
Great. I love a one word band name, but like we had some PR people. Sometimes we get, them wanting us to do, but we only do bands we like. But their band was called Stomach, and I thought that's it?
Yeah.
Not Stomach Acid or Stomach Monkeys, just Stomach?
Yeah. I think the shortest band name in history's got to be X.
Just X.
Just X. Like, I don't think it get any shorter than that.
That's true.
Yeah, try Googling that band name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
and
think
that's
about
the
the
other thing,
Google.
too, like, I didn't realize it when I named the band this, but if you go and you Google Sonolith, the only thing that comes up is our band
Yes.
and a machine that's made for killing kidney stones. So that's cool. That's fine.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe with those deep riffs, you can do both. You never
That would
know.
be sweet.
Break up the kidney stones.
Literally healing music.
Decalcify your kidneys.
I work for an eye doctor, and years ago, it's actually a little outdated technology, but what they use to break up cataracts is called a phaco, and it used sound waves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the technology of the Sonolith lithotripter. That's what it's called, right?
Oh my.
Technical stuff, man.
So how did adding the second guitarist kind of change the live performing dynamic? Were
You
like,
mean
"No,
other than ruining everything, or no?
Did you have to kind of jostle like where you guys stand, or this is my spot?
Yeah, actually,
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sage,
Ben
you can
actually
speak to
made a
that.
good
That was, I think actually that was Ben's idea.
Yeah, it was.
the current one, yeah. So it was always, the three of us, me and Alex was kind of in the front and Ian back there. And then when Ben first joined, I was in the middle, and then the two guitar players were, on either side of the stage. But I think we ended up feeling that, Alex should be in the middle, and then I think you guys feel more comfortable kind of playing next to each other, and I'm on the other side of the stage now. So when I'm stage,
It's easier
stage
for me
left.
to see his butt when he's gyrating with his guitar, so that's good.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
It is. Become a motivational force in the band, for sure.
Well, I'll tell you that the Doom Festival is something that we go to every year, and it really feels like a lot more underground than, say, the Maryland Death Fest, because it's a lot more small.
It's a lot of industry.
It's a lot of smaller bands, and some of them, they seem like they just got together for the first time on stage, like they just met, right? But you guys really impressed us because you were obviously really well rehearsed, and I was blown away when you switched out tunings halfway through and you completely changed. That was like some kind of NASCAR pit crew thing. Yeah. Yeah. So was that all? Do you always do that, or was that just for the Doom Fest, or you
No, we
always
pretty
have
much-
several different tuned guitars with you?
Yeah, we got two different tunings, and sorry, Ben, go ahead.
God forbid we break a string live. We're screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
Okay.
have half our set in drop C and then half our set in drop A. So we start off. Yeah, we originally were going back and forth between the two, and I was one who's like, hey, it doesn't sound as cool to go back to the higher tuned guitar, so let's just start here and end here. So
Well, it gets progressively heavier as the show goes on. So kind of,
Bingo.
And
Really
and we'll
interesting.
we'll adjust the set. We had a good balance at the Doom Fest. I think it was like 3 and 3, but we'll adjust the set based on what bands we're playing with. So we could do like more C songs, or if it's a heavier band, we can do more drop A songs, stuff like that. So it's versatile.
That's
Definitely
a great
versatile.
point. And it allows us to fit with it, like depending on who we're playing with. Like in October, we have a show we're so excited to play with Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh
Heck
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a big show for us. And so for that show, we'll probably lean a little bit more towards our drop C songs because they're a little bit more up tempo, a little more rock. Because it's going to probably speak to that crowd better. I mean, we'll do some heavy stuff also, but we'll just lean more towards the faster stuff. So it's nice to be able to do that. Yeah.
I'll say tempo wise, the songs in C will be a little faster. The ones in A are much more like heavy and felt, but Sonolith is always going to have the Sonolith sound, is what I say. Like there's just a natural little groove we find with all of our songs, or it's always like one bar where in my head I'm like, yeah, this is what we sound like, and I like the fact that we can have different colors to our music by changing tunings.
Yeah, a lot of different influences too. Like our overarching thing, we always want to try to be heavy and riff based rock. Want people to bob their heads in to feel it, but like groovy. We want to try to catch grooves too, and not so much that it's like groove rock, but kind of just where you can feel it and move around and not get too, There's some heavy bands that are just amazing, but they seem like it's more about like hitting certain tones than actually creating like melody and harmony and like, movement within the music. And so that's something that we're always going to have, and something that helps us with that a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys have listened to the bass lines that we have on recordings, but dude, Sage, like he's all over we joke around with him and we're like, all right, lead bass.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
No, it's great. It's a good
That's
thing.
good stuff. Yeah.
No, it's really good.
Fucking noodlers.
Crazy, dirty, filthy bass line, and it's getting you with a hook this way, and then there's this guitar hook coming in, and it's like it's got more hooks than a pirate convention. It's crazy.
Bing.
Yes.
No, that's a good way. That's a great way to put it for Sage's bass playing, because I played bass for a long time, and then obviously as a drummer, my bass drum and that man need to be completely in sync the entire time. But Sage, I've known Sage and Alex since I was like 19 or 20. I joined the band in 2021. But when I was in an older band called Spiritual Shepherd back in the day, I had seen Sage with Demon Lung and I had seen Alex with Sonolith come up. And as fate would have it, we all started jamming. So I already knew what caliber of bass player that Sage is. But when writing 3, there's a couple parts where I was like, dude, that rips. You need to record it. That sounds so sick at that right part. And he just knows where to put it. It's a rare gift that I don't think a lot of musicians have. But he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this right here. And it always elevates a part and it brings us to the next riff or the next sequence in the song where it's always.
I think the goal for the writing, I think for everybody, like we mentioned hooks. So yeah, there can be like the bass hook layer. Then all of a sudden, like Alex's fucking groovy ass riff comes in, and the leads, or like a cool drum line, whatever the case may be. And we do like to focus on, I don't know if catchy is the right word, but like interesting, or it'll keep your attention because of the no vocals partially. But we want to have people like always like going, oh, there's an earworm. I think it's all about like providing earworms for people.
Ben came in about halfway through our process on the last album, but added he was involved with most of the recording, and there's a lot of the harmonies and lead stuff that ended up on 3 that were totally out of Ben's mind. And I think on our next release, you're going to see an even cooler evolution of the band with his input, because we have a bunch of stuff written already.
Oh, baby.
Dude, Ben literally would come in and he's like, he can write pretty quickly on the spot, or like do some soloing and stuff like that. So like he literally came over to my house and he goes, okay, what are we doing? I'd play the riff, we do a couple passes, and then he would hone it in really quick. Yeah. So,
all right, that's enough nice stuff about Ben. He's going to get a big head.
Look at him smiling.
Well, I mean, in all reality, a lot of instrumental bands can veer towards the proggier side of things, and then you walk away not remembering any of the songs.
Yep.
And even with the instrumental tag and the doom stuff, I want these songs to be memorable. I want you to walk away humming a hook in your head. And so, yeah, I don't want to just overplay and just try to be heavy for the sake of being heavy. The song's got to be enjoyable and memorable on some level.
And I think that's a really cool thing about this band, is that we all have different influences and inspirations. And like Sage and Ben, they like a lot of progressive rock, and we all just have a lot of different influences and stuff, but all of us still kind of keep our eyes on the prize, and we know what the game plan is. And so when we write and we jam, we have a lot of ideas and we go back and forth. But the truth is that we're always like, we might not be on exactly the same line, but we're always on the same page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Well, I've always been of the frame of mind that every band works best as kind of a democracy with a leader. I don't think that all four people should have an equal voice at all times. There should be the one guy that's kind of driving the ship, and then everybody else kind of gets on board and is in agreement with where the ship is going, can still offer up ideas and stuff like that. So this is Alex's puppy through and through, but we all have a say in how the songs go and add their parts. And I look at him as the final right of refusal. If he doesn't like it, then we just kind of drop it and move on. But if he likes it, we just keep moving on and keep running with it.
And the truth is, I mean, I feel that's cool to hear you say that. I don't really honestly think about it that way all the time. I think of it honestly like, I don't know any time that you guys have ever brought anything into the jam room where I've just been like, fuck no. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, we all kind of have very similar tastes, and you know.
Well, we're all pretty adaptable.
Called me.
But there is Ben's pinch harmonics.
I do them a lot. I do them intentionally to annoy Alex.
Yes.
And you'll see every time I do a pinch harmonic, I'm looking back at Sage going,
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm funny.
I noticed that even if Alex doesn't notice because he's in the middle of like, rocking out, I always look over to Ben. I'm like, thank you.
Well, at least we know who stirs the pot now.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Good though, and that's the other thing too. Like, we're not getting rich. I don't know. I mean, it'd be awesome if we could make a living being in a band, but I don't even know if the guys that make a living being in a band are making a living anymore. So, the point is that we're doing this for fun. We're doing it so that hopefully we can present these songs to other people and they can have, some enjoyment out of what we're doing too. Or like, it's just all for the love of the music.
Well, hey,
so
listen,
we keep it fun.
I'm at work. This is a lot more fun than being at work.
Yeah.
Just sitting there bullshitting with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, playing shows, being a musician, I mean, people see it one way. Some people believe stereotypes even, but I just love the ability to express myself artistically and have a place to play my drums, which is very important. And lastly, it's like I have great musicians around me at all times. And with all that combined, I've now had the ability to travel all the way out to the East Coast a few months ago for Maryland Doom Fest, and we've done a lot of cool things this year, especially. So I'm really grateful and blessed for it. And these guys, I know they feel the same way too. So
absolutely.
How was it for you? I mean, you came further than I think most of the bands there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bands.
The furthest.
Us, maybe technically the furthest. Us and Day Tripper from Arizona.
Day Tripper,
yeah, because they're from Arizona.
And you know what? They were an awesome band, and they initially reached out to me asking if we wanted to do some shows together because we had both found out that we were booked there, but we ended up getting booked on opposite ends of the festival. They were there Thursday, we were there Sunday, and we're like, shit. Then we're
Yeah, we wanted to, but this didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's a good couple years though. We got to go do a little mini tour up in the Pacific Northwest that culminated in Rocky Mountain Riff Fest up with our homies Wizard up there, and it was not Missoula,
great show.
Kalispell, Montana.
Yeah.
And that, dude, so we saw the whole Pacific Northwest, did a big, 2,000-mile loop, 2,500 miles. It was long. Yeah, and then we got to play Stoner Jam in Texas. Tom from Duel invited us out to play that, and that was, dude, I'm in love with Austin. I love that place. I went there to Southwest.
I don't give a shit about the show. I just want more barbecue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terry Black's.
Terry Black's.
They got great ramen out there too. Like I was shocked at how good the food in Austin was, because we get spoiled in Vegas. Vegas is like, we got, known for all the good food out here. But then so we did that in March, and then we did this trip. We drove through Denver. All the way across the country. We drove through Kansas, the corner of Missouri, and down into Kentucky, West Virginia. Where we hit somewhere else. Did we hit the bottom of Ohio?
No,
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Then
we went to like
Kentucky,
Missouri,
West
Illinois,
Virginia,
Indiana,
Maryland.
Kentucky.
So I think what did we count? 7 states?
Something like that.
Yeah. And so we drove the van out, played the shows, and then I actually had to start. I started a new job literally the day after our show at Maryland Doom Fest, and so these guys were absolute champs and packed all my shit up because I had to go jump on a plane and fly back to Vegas the same night.
be at a new job at 9 a.m. Monday morning.
Oh, wow.
8. Yeah, had to be back. Had to be at 8 in the
Or
morning.
8, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't play any shows on the way back, and we freaking hoofed it like
Cross country in 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
So
Working
it,
still.
it kind of occurred to me after listening to it a few times, and that this is telling a story, like the torturer and the escape. And what kind of is the backstory, or is it like an allegory based on life, or is it like kind of supposed to be a little concept album?
So starting with Voidscapes, we decided that since we're instrumental, that we kept having people tell us like, man, I can like, when your music is playing, I can like make us hear a story in my mind. And so like, I think Sage and I both talked about on Voidscapes, like naming the songs in such a way that it kind of was like the chapters in a story. So that not saying exactly what the story is, but sort of leading people's minds to an area so that their minds could go wild with whatever they think that story is. We have our own ideas of what it is for Voidscapes. For 3, it was a little bit more like we wrote all these songs, and then when we were sitting down and putting them together, and we put them in on the order of the album, actually, surprisingly, pretty much in the order we wrote them.
The way we wrote them, yeah.
Yeah, so it worked out that way, just not by plan, but it almost seems like just by the universe be universing. And then when we gave the names to the songs, it started becoming clear that there was a narrative that could be made through the like thematic elements of the music. And that if we named the songs appropriately, again, we could sort of push people into a direction of maybe thinking about it as a story, but not telling them exactly what it is. Like for me, it's allegorical. For me, it's about the way that people manipulate one another. So for me, the torture is this, is more allegorical to like manipulative people, or people that try to trap you in situations that are unhealthy. That was kind of the way that I look at it personally, but we leave it open for anybody to interpret it the way they like it.
Absolutely.
I do like the way you went all Latin in our asses with the little palate cleansers. The sin misconcertia for no mercy, ephigem for flee escape. What in the world was that sample in Sin that sounds almost like an old movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It is. We found in this old movie. I forget which one of us found it, Alex. It might have been you. I can't. 100%.
And I don't even remember the name of it. It was from an archive website where you can get royalty free.
Yeah.
It's like you can't steal samples from newer stuff. So old movies are kind of the way to go.
It's like an old Panavision movie from the 50s.
Something, yeah. Like so, we took that, and then we put some instrumentation underneath it, and then I did some just weird manipulation. I'd have to go back into the session to remember exactly what I did, but
we did some reverse stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. So just trying to set the mood for the bass line that creeps in right afterwards.
And that was one of the things that Sage and I discovered when we were doing Voidscapes, was how fun it is to do the like sound effects stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you right now, if I could get a job in Hollywood just making like, weird sound effect shit from it, that is so fun to me. Yeah.
Well, what effects did you guys use on, what's it, Fujium? It sounds like again, it sounds backwards tracked.
So that is actually a couple of things. There was some scratchy violin tracks.
Yeah.
That we found, and
violin abuse.
Yeah, violin abuse. Yeah, and I also layered on top of that. I have this weird, I guess it's a bass you could call it, but it's a 2x4 with a pickup on it and a single string and a tuning peg at the very top. And I scratched the shit out of that with like a lighter. I used a violin bow on that, and it all kind of like went together.
I think we used a sample of someone running, I think.
Yeah, and then I pitch shifted several of the tracks, and it all kind of like, because I wanted it to sound like a lot of cacophony and intense. Did you hear that door slamming at the end of Torturers? And then it's like, is that the part we're talking about there?
Yeah.
That's it. Sounds like playing a record backwards.
Right.
Yeah. So we did like intense feeling of like escape and stuff like that.
Yeah, we wanted to create like an oppressive anxiety feeling, so that when because that next track that comes out is a lot more upbeat and kind of has a happier tone to it. So we were trying to figure out how tonally that song fit into the story. really.
Yeah, for Under the Torturer's Attention, I love the fact it starts off with a little like low bass solo. It seems like Doom is like the only genre that'll do that. With it's putting the spotlight on the bass. Others are like bass solo. I don't like them, but I love it. It's so rich.
Yeah,
That
everyone
song
wants
is
to hear
actually
the bass.
Sage's.
Boom.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, Sage actually came up with the main riffs. We both have input on that, but that's primarily Sage's stuff. And he came in and like that song. That's actually probably my favorite track on the album.
I
Very
love that
nice.
band, Year of the Cobra. When I first found out they were only bass and drums, I'm like, how's that gonna work? But it does.
No, they make it
yeah.
work. I was the same way. I'm
They're
like,
great.
oh, get a guitar player, but no, they actually make it work.
Yeah, they
Burning
should.
Sister did that too. 2-piece, real heavy.
Yep, Burning
Out in
Sister from
Denver.
Denver.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few bands that pull it off. I've noticed a lot of times you'll have the drummer and the bassist, and the bassist has some kind of an octave effect that makes it, where there's a little more high-end content. Yeah.
I also love the tone of the guitars on Midnight Flight. You said you're down-tuned and use pedals, or one or the other?
Both, for sure.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was talking about. That's got a little bit more of an upbeat sort of tone to it.
I'm really glad you said you like that song because Alex has badmouthed his own song. He's like, I don't like that song very much anymore. And that song's
That's
a fun song to play.
It's fun to play, but it's not my favorite of our songs that we have.
Well, now we're gonna have to add it back to the set.
Well, no, but actually, that's what I was gonna mention. There was a time where we played that song in the set to death.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's one
that's
of those
why.
things.
So on that point too, like there was phases to writing this album. It was spread out over a long period of time. And Torturers was the first one we wrote together. And like the very ending with all the big drums at the end, that's something I personally was like, we got to do this at the end. And there's like phases to the album, and it's like Midnight came, and then we kind of started writing Legion, and then we were playing Desert, and it was like we were kind of coming up and down the scale there until we kind of solidified what we wanted. And I think that's another reason why the album's so unique too, because it has like a story that even ourselves we're telling you through our own progression as a band at that point.
One of my favorites is definitely Brave the Desert of Despair. Oh man, I love the drum gallop and the way the guitar sounds. Excuse me. So being so close to the desert in Las Vegas, has any of you ever been stranded in the desert? Have any of you ever gotten stuck in the desert?
Oh, that must be the worst place for your car to break down.
Yeah, most people that live out here, like we all carry water with us, That's essential.
Well, Alex and I are of the age where we grew up here playing desert shows because there was nothing else for all ages in this town forever.
Not a thing.
And so we'd have these shows, bring a generator out in the middle of nowhere, and then play somewhere miles away from civilization where it's really easy to get lost. You have I look back on those years as I'm a fucking idiot for ever going out there and doing any of the shows.
It's amazing we survived.
I can't believe I made it back home, and if my kids ever did that shit, I'd beat the shit out of them. But so we've lived a lot of our lives in the desert here, and it gets brutally hot. Yes.
I was just telling somebody at work earlier today. I remember back I don't remember what year it was. It was late '90s. It was over 120 degrees here. It's crazy. It's like the news was like, don't go outside, just stay inside.
Last year we had the most consecutive days over 115 ever.
Yeah,
it was
unbelievable.
Crazy.
But I will say this: being on the East Coast for the festival, I will take 115 here over 95 there any day of the week.
The humidity is
fucking
horrible.
brutal.
It makes such a difference. Yeah.
I could run on a day that it's 80, but the humidity level is so bad, I still look like I fell in a pool. It's horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nuts.
It really is. Yeah. See, everywhere has its ups and downs. Vegas is a pretty cool place. It's being here as long as you get there's things that you get take for granted, and then there's things that you get jaded on. So probably like anywhere else,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only good part about Maryland is we have the ocean and the mountains and the bay. You kind of get all three.
Right. I don't know if you've ever had any of the seafood in Maryland, but
there you go.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty fucking amazing. So
not over exaggerating the least bit about the seafood in that state.
Yeah,
I love scallops.
Definitely something. Yeah.
I was surprised, like the kids and I used to go down south, like South Carolina, and they had these big calabash seafood houses. They had no seasoning on anything. It was I was like, what the hell are they doing?
It's
And
made
people
by
are lined
white
up for
people. What do
this?
you expect?
Yeah, you get used to a certain type of seasoning up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
that
an
Old
Old Bay
Bay?
hot sauce chick.
Yeah, Old Bay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Old Bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make a hot sauce. I can't live without it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
you guys did that video, for Brave the Desert of Despair. Where was that shot and who kind of came up with the concept? I'm guessing that was stock footage cut in.
Yeah. So that was kind of, we knew when we were recording that was going to kind of be our single for the album. Like our, that was when we decided we wanted to do a video for and stuff. I got some stock footage. That's old footage of the Nevada test site, like where
Oh,
they
wow.
blew off the atomic bombs and stuff.
Oh,
So
cool.
again, it was royalty free, so we could access it without having problems with that. And then we had what was Dubois' first name? Peter. We had a guy named Peter Dubois come out and actually capture the video footage of us playing live in the rehearsal studio that we used to use. Our buddy Brent owns a place called MDV Entertainment. Yeah. So all of there's very few places to practice out here in Vegas. So like all the bands, like we all know the same because we all have to get our spots there. And he's got one of them. But yeah, that room, they call that the orange room. And it had and I thought it was kind of cool because I had all these pictures of like, kind of mid-century dude with a briefcase with a rocket ship behind him, and the orange and the brown. It was all very retro looking. And so it felt like, well, yeah, that seems like that would fit in with, that's kind of the thing with Doom, is it always has this sort of like retro vibe. And
Right.
Oh.
and then it actually did even tied in with the video that we did off of Voidscapes, because that one we took a bunch of old footage and did like the mid-century space footage. So the graphics that were already on the wall at the rehearsals place kind of pulled in some of the themes of our first video, and then also fit with, this sound stylistically what we're doing with Brave the Desert. And then I actually edited it. So Peter Dubois captured the footage, and then I took it all and I edited it myself, added all the overlays, and spent hours matching up cymbal hits to try to figure out which footage went to which part of the song.
Yeah,
And
funny
that's how
enough,
that
when
came.
we recorded the video footage, we did not record to the album playing. We played
Right.
this on live, like
Played it
10
live.
in a row, and just took footage from each, and then he made it fit with the actual song tempo.
Yeah, I had to. So there was certain clips I had to speed up like 3.5%, and then there were certain clips like slow down 5%. But it was just a matter of that's what I'm saying, matching up the cymbal hits so that the timing of us playing live looked like it was with recording. In retrospect, it probably would have been smart for us to play to the recording, but you always learn. And everything we do, so I mean, we're very DIY. We're a stoner doom band, but there's a little bit of a, don't tell Sage I said this, but we have a little bit of a punk rock ethos. Like,
yeah.
we do what we want, and we hope people like it. And
I saw you had your own studio, your own mastering, pretty much you did the whole thing.
Yeah, the only thing about the album that we didn't do ourselves is the recording of the drums.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do all the art. I did the video editing. Like I said, we write all we do only original music. We did do a Black Sabbath cover at our album release show. That was fun. That's the only cover we've ever done in the entire history of the band.
Wow.
That's cool.
And it pays to have an artist in the band. It
Amen.
really makes it more convenient.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that tell us, oh, we can't afford to do a video. I'm like, no, you just need to know the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
true.
the truth is, if you're creative the problem with video is it's so time consuming. Like you really have to dedicate time to editing. It's the capture. And this is the thing. I used to work in the wedding industry. Well, the photography industry really kind of primarily doing weddings. And it's the same thing even with you might see a 15, 20 minute wedding video that has like 2 hours of capture and like 20 hours of editing for like a 20-minute product.
Wow.
It can just be really time consuming,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now we did a rockumentary. It was a documentary of us writing a song. I feel like we filmed that thing all day. It is 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, a lot of video editing around here. We do a lot of it. Yeah.
So I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah. It takes a long time.
So I had a burning question. Who is the dweller on the threshold?
Okay, so that's a metaphysical idea from Gnosticism. It's about the initiation from one spiritual phase into the next. And so at every step of your evolution spiritually, there's a guardian, a dweller on the threshold, a guardian of the door. And it's this demon that has to be, it's a dragon that has to be slayed. It's a demon that has to be subdued. And it's all you, and it's all within your mind. But it's a metaphor for pushing past an adversary to get into the next stage of your personal evolution.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did they make it out alive at the end? Did they escape? Or are we not? Is that opened up to interpretation?
That is the goal for sure.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if
Yeah.
any of us are getting out alive, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see the end of the album, you can take it or leave it on how it ends. I feel like it does lead up to a climactic moment, however you interpret it. I've always felt like no matter what, the ending you feel for the end of that record, especially with the guy speaking in Latin by the fire, you can kind of take it as if maybe somebody telling the story of this person years later. Like, oh, this is what this person went through, or maybe it's that same person. Or maybe
Later
it's just
in life,
all, yeah, you never know. Like, that's something I like about the record, too. It does make you use your head a lot. And even when I wrote the
took it,
parts,
you know,
I
somebody
felt that
around the
way.
campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were going for. Yeah, and there's another sample at the end of the ocean sounds like it sounds like a sailing ship, you know. We built that all up too. That was a combination of like maybe 6 or 7 different samples that we layered together to create that kind of Foley stage idea of someone on a sailing ship. And then it's, you know, tonight I sleep at home is what it says at the end of the night. So yeah, the idea is that whether, you know, they made it safe. I think they made it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with, I forget whose mom said it was so cinematic, because I had that
My
written
mom.
down in my notes that it was very narrative driven. If it were a film, what genre would it be and who would be starring in it?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, sword and sorcery.
not going to be Conan, okay?
I was leaning towards Mr. Bean, but you guys do whatever.
Yeah, Mr. Bean. What a sword and sorcery movie with Mr. Bean would be classic.
I almost would see it as like Interstellar, even in a way. It could be told in a narrative like the way Christopher Nolan can make a movie. I wouldn't know about the actors. I couldn't say about acting right now. Yeah, it's a great question. Wow.
Now, right, Blue Sky. Like if like dreams come true, what if we had Wes Anderson do it? That would be weird.
That'd be
In
wild.
reality, it'd probably be better if it was Jody Hill, but that's fine. You know.
So you've shared the stage with acts like The Obsessed,
Nebula,
oh God, Truck Fighters, Saint Slug,
Sasquatch.
Freedom Hawk,
Moss Generator.
Dying, who has also been on our show.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other show, they were on the Extreme show. But
Yeah, this is great bands
out
come
of
through.
all of them, who was most memorable for good or bad reasons that you played with?
In Austin, we played with a band called Throat Piss. It's a fantastic name to begin with.
That is a great name. Yeah.
They were really awesome.
And instead of a bass player, they have the saxophone player. It's so fucking out there.
Yeah,
It's so much
they were
fun.
great though.
Yes, they were.
Yeah,
Yes, they were.
it's hard to say which of those bands. You know, if I think that it's great. There were different things that were awesome about each of those bands. Like for me, when we got the chance, I love Freedom Hawk. To me, if somebody said to me, "What is like a quintessential stone rock band that like doesn't suck in any way at all?" The Freedom Hawk rules. And the dude, he played that whole show on my guitar amp. I was like,
Yeah.
that's such a cool thing, you know, to have like someone that you've been listening to since before you were in a band using your gear. It's great. But I mean, Nebula's all these bands, it's like, you know, the Obsessed, they're like, you know, OGs.
Legends.
Yeah, legends. It's hard to even say because they're just, each one's different.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of shows too, and I've been influenced and blown away by tons of epic bands. But this February, I will say that show we did with Slomosa, those guys from Norway.
There was so much energy in that
set. I couldn't even begin to put it to words. Like, I've seen musicians kill it and have tight, good sets, but they not only played a tight and a good set, they were like presenting themselves in a way that it's crazy. They were so talented and they were so good. And what I took away from it the most was like, these guys know how to harness energy and expel it out to a crowd. Like
share
instantly.
it, yeah.
And
I was gonna say like
good.
Slomosa from all the way from Norway, right?
Yeah,
then,
Slomosa, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 Mods and Truck
Freeze.
Fighters. Holy crap! Like playing with these bands that come from halfway across the world and who have, you know, millions of people that are, I mean, it's just surreal almost sometimes to think about some of the opportunities we've had, you know. And there's a promoter out here that brought most of those bands that you're talking about, you know. There, I don't know if you guys know John Gist from Planet Desert Rock, but it's really fortunate for this entire city that he puts the amount of money and time and energy that he does into bringing those bands out, because there really wasn't a lot of, there are other promoters who also do shows. We've got really great friends in Patrick Pulsar Trout, and there's a guy named Brian Moy from Dirty Rock and Roll Dance Party that brings out like some of the shows he brings out. I'm like, how did you even get that?
Right.
Yeah, I
So
know.
we're really fortunate that we have some passionate promoters out here that bring cool shit, you know.
Amen.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really lots of really cool opportunities, and you know, we're just always blown away with, again, like I was saying about this genre of music, like even the bands from other countries that are just, you know, like, dude, Wino looks like a fucking mean ass biker that will eat your face. That dude is such a sweet guy. What a nice, he's such a totally nice guy. You know?
And more often than not, doom heads are really kind of gearheads too. So we're always talking about gear, amps, guitars, pedals, and checking each other's stuff out. And I'm the guy who, I don't give a shit about what your band sounds like. I just want to see your pedal board. And yeah, so
yeah. And as a drummer, I asked the other drummer, so how many other doom bands do you play for?
Right. 22.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 7.
Well, what's that Hard Times article where drummer died and it like 20 bands lost their drummer because one drummer died?
Half the music scene fell that day.
Exactly.
So we have life insurance on Ian.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this,
Guy
but hell
from
yeah.
Poland. Paulo?
What, the guy from Sweden?
No, from Poland. He hit him in a hammock.
Yeah. Powell's his name. He's a Polish drummer. I can't think of his last name. Powell. He's in like every extreme band in Poland, basically. Like it's on the Metal Archives. It's like a paragraph like this. He's just
He's in the right place.
Yeah, he's got job security. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. Oh, I don't have a gig tonight. Call the other band.
So if you could resurrect one lost stoner doom band to share a stage with, who would it be?
Resurrect one.
If you have to, not necessarily. From any time.
It's not exactly a resurrection, but I think for me, like, man, I would love to play with Fu Manchu.
Oh yeah.
They were my first. They were the first. Like they were a band that I loved before stoner rock was a genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they weren't even, like, back in the 90s, they didn't even call it stoner rock. It was just Fu Manchu. Like, you know. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I always used to seeing them like all grungy looking, and then I remember I saw them on California Crossing tour, and they all came out with the Eagles Hawaiian shirts on.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. I totally didn't see that coming. Yeah,
I got to see them one time, maybe 2010-ish, in Costa Mesa, California, in a very, very small venue, and it was so good.
Yeah,
so good.
They sound so good.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you, Ben? I don't. Maybe does it have to be a stoner band?
No, just in general. Yeah.
About what band I would like to play with?
Yeah, like if she said if you could resurrect a band to get to play with.
If you were existing or you can resurrect, you have the power.
Just hop on the bill.
The original Mr. Bungle.
Oh,
not what they turned into. Give me that.
Nice.
The Disco Volante era of Mr. Bungle.
Oh
yeah.
Good call. Mine's definitely more of a classic rock band, I guess, and it's not Led Zeppelin. If you two about to guess, mine is going to be Motorhead. If I can have Sonolith do a Motorhead gig, that would be fucking rad.
Hell yeah.
That would go so hard. You guys know we would turn up for that one big time. If that was actually happening, hell yeah,
That's
that would be the
one,
loudest Sonolith gig. Yeah, we'd kill it with Motorhead.
And
That'd
I
be
would
like a dream come true.
And I would insist on playing the slowest songs we have.
Which version of Motorhead would you choose, though? The trio or?
I'd probably say the trio. That was my favorite era from them. I know he had a ton of lineup changes and added and subtracted people, but my big brother, like Iron Fist era, Ace of Spades era, that kind of era of Motorhead for sure.
Yeah, my favorite's got to be the way Phil starts off Stay Clean, that flourish in the beginning. Completely not necessary, but it's just like so shit hot. It's just Our drummer is
love it.
better than all of your drummers. Listen to this.
Philly the animal,
Great,
man.
great. Yeah.
Awesome
You just tell
drummer.
they were just practicing every day at that point, you know.
Yeah, Lemmy only took excellence, even though he looked like a big crazy rock star. He's still, as a musician, doing that business for real.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people,
Yeah.
great songwriter, great everything. I love Lemmy. May he
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Alrighty, so we play a game on the show. Normally, if it's one person, they do 5 random questions with Stace. That's me. But since there's 3 of you left, I want you each to pick 2 numbers between 1 and 100. Who wants to go first?
I'll go if you guys
Okay.
want. Give me more time to think about something. And I'm going to keep talking for a second so that I can think of my second number. All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, give me 2 numbers.
45,
And one more?
19.
Okay. I don't know why it's printed out so big this time. 45. What's your most awkward I didn't see you there moment?
I didn't see you there. Gosh, I don't know if it's I didn't see you there moment. That's a tough one. I can't think of one off the top of my head that specific thing happened, but I hate when you see someone that you've known for like a decade and then you like go to say hi to them and their name is gone. And you're like, I know, like we've been to 30 shows together and I know your wife.
Yeah.
But you're like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awkward. I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've had a theory my whole life about one of the downsides to smoking a lot of marijuana is it deletes some files.
Right.
And there will be times that you go, well, it's obviously
And the files.
him.
You.
But the file's been deleted by.
I trained my wife. If we go out somewhere and I don't introduce her, she knows to jump in and introduce herself so I can catch the name.
Okay, well, there you go.
Genius. Teamwork.
That's good.
Teamwork.
It's good that you got that all worked out. That's
Oh, yeah.
good. Yeah.
Your last question. What's a conspiracy theory you secretly think might be true?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say this, but like the whole thing about the moon landing being faked, like I don't want to believe that, but some of the stuff that I've seen, like the evidence looks kind of compelling. I'm like, wow, this is a really well orchestrated conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I still think we landed on the moon, but that one is they've done a pretty compelling job of trying to debunk it. Let's say that. And the idea that Stanley Kubrick filmed it in a basement, maybe I kind of want that to be true. A little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And the fact we were in this race against the Russians, and it just made us feel so good as a country that we beat them. But did we? I hope.
It just
Right.
seems plausible. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's true. It just that's one that kind of seems plausible. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Who's my next victim?
All right, I'll go. 2 and 26.
Number 2. What's the weirdest thing you ever used as a bookmark?
Keep it clean, Ben. Keep it clean.
Who the fuck has time to read? I mean, the best I do is read magazines, and I use the subscription card they put in there as the bookmark, and that's about it for me. I work and have 3 kids, and I don't have time to read books.
He said a magic spell that I tore from the page of a 16th century grimoire.
My best story about that would be when I was in college. One of my roommates discovered I had a bookmark in one of my Clive Barker books, and they were like, "Mark, feel free to use this, but it's the water bill, and maybe we should pay it." You know.
Good enough.
So yeah.
We're up to 26. What's a movie everyone loves, but you just don't get?
Well, you're kind of funny you brought it up. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think it's a big pile of garbage and was a waste of time. People love that movie, and maybe it's because I don't do drugs. Maybe I need to start doing a lot more drugs so I can appreciate that movie. And I mean, Full Metal Jacket will go down as one of my favorite movies of all time. But 2001 was a fucking joke to me. And I hated his last movie, Eyes Wide Shut. How do you have a movie full of hot naked chicks and a lot of fucking, and the movie is still boring as shit? How does that happen? How do you make that happen?
You know, Ben, you
I was
Ben,
impressed.
you do realize that you're in a band where our visuals are sort of thematically inspired by 2001.
The music
A
ain't.
little bit.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Oh.
All
That's
right,
funny.
last gentleman up.
All right. I two numbers. I'll do 11 and 27.
11. Have you ever accidentally sent a text to the wrong person? Worst case scenario, what happened?
Ooh.
I got a
was
funny
dating
story
this-
on that one.
I was dating this Latina, and I was telling this other girl who was bugging me to fuck off, and I texted the Latina that instead. So I got an angry phone call, being half cussed out in Spanish and half cussed out in English. I was 18.
Classic. Yeah.
And I was like, "It wasn't for you. I don't care, stupido." Hangs
Yeah.
up. I'm like,
And then you try to explain it, and they're just like, nope.
"No, she won't have it. She didn't talk to me for 2 days." I was dumbass me. Should have quit playing with those dumb girls.
Yeah.
I always get stuck on autocorrect. I was texting my friend, "Are you going to go to Zumba?" And it changed it to Zimbabwe. I'm like, no, no, we're not going to Zimbabwe anytime
On a
soon.
Tuesday night, right? Yeah.
Oh, stuck in autocorrect. 27. What's the weirdest place you ever fell asleep?
In the middle of rehearsal.
Hey.
Never. I couldn't do that to myself. No, I think weirdest place I ever fell asleep. Okay, I fell asleep behind a fucking like my grandfather's like tool shed when I was a kid in his backyard. Nobody could find me. I was like for like 10 minutes I was out of sight. And I was a little kid and my mom was freaking out, but I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
passed out behind his old tool shed when I was little.
Oh, that's funny.
Sounds like a Toady song or something.
Did you see that whole documentary of the well, it was these people and the father built like this big inflatable thing.
The balloon boy.
Bubble boy.
Balloon boy. Or
Oh,
They
yeah,
thought
Bloomberg,
they
yeah.
told everybody the kid went up in it and he was really hiding and
yeah.
took
Yeah, we
like
saw
And like it gripped the whole nation. Yeah.
took an entire
funny.
Air Force to bring this thing down and there was nobody in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it looks like you have a show at the Dive Bar in Vegas on September 26th. What might a playlist look like if you have thought about it?
Ooh.
New,
I
new
think we're gonna
stuff.
bust out some new stuff.
Mhm.
We've got like 3 tracks that are all like 95% finished. So we're probably gonna test some of those out. And then
Then a cover
No,
of
we
all
haven't
the
really talked about our
songs
set
from
list yet.
Blink-182. No?
What'd
We
you
could do
say?
a cover. I said we could do a cover of All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh,
How do
yeah.
we make that doom?
Why would we make it Doom? Just play it straight.
Oh no.
That's funny. So Ben
That's
has
it.
another band that's kind of genius. They're called the New Waves. They do surf covers of 80s new wave songs,
Cool.
Wow.
and it's a ton of fun. So he thinks he's clever is the point of that story.
I'm super clever. I'm full of great ideas. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
So it sounds like new music coming down the pike, and what else is coming up on the horizon for you guys?
Should we tell them about the porno or no?
Gigs and recording.
Yeah, that
Oh,
Just,
we
just
might. You know, you guys were saying how the music's kind of cinematic. We've gotten a couple of offers to have our music on video games,
Oh, that's good.
which we are actively pursuing, and also not just our music, but one of the people that were like, "Hey, if you send us head and body shots, they're actually going to put our likenesses in the video game," which is
Wow.
Oh, that's
rad.
cool.
Yeah,
That's you might actually make some money with that. That's where you
It-
go. Yeah.
it's an indie. It's an indie game, so I don't know if we're going to charge them this time.
Yeah. No, but it's a gateway, right? You know.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
your likeness is in it and they finally make it into a series like The Last of Us, then you can star in it.
There you
Exactly.
go. That would be rad.
yeah.
But I think like I was kind of joking around earlier about how even bands that play music professionally aren't really making a ton of money anymore. But that's the way bands like if you can get your music on a commercial or in a game or
Yeah.
like that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So if you
That's-
guys know
that's really
if anyone with just share the phone number.
No, totally. That is the new frontier for actually getting paid to make music. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
worse yet, if you had to pick somebody to play you in the series, who would you pick to play you?
Well, obviously Ben's gonna be played by Pedro Pascal. I mean, obviously.
I see that.
What about Ian? Who would play Ian? Who would play you, Ian?
In which show?
Any
If
show.
they
Any show. Like if they made a movie about our band and who was gonna play?
Probably,
Oh, who would play
probably
me?
Animal from the Muppets, of course.
There you go.
Animal.
There it
Oh,
is.
Tommy Lee. I'm no kidding.
How about you get Tom Hardy, and I'll get Jason Momoa for me.
That's a perfect.
Fair enough.
There we
Perfect.
go.
I'll get Tom Hardy and me. We look alike. Come on now. I
Who's
mean, I
that?
need 40 more pounds of muscle, but then
Yeah, for me it's more like 60 pounds. So
yeah, dude's a nut.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears 1 is a new album from Propagandhi, At Peace.
I didn't find my soulmate until after 50. I only recently mastered the art of crafting my own spicy guacamole. I finally nailed the perfect supplement lineup to stay sharp, and I just learned that, get this, you can buy a spell from a witch on Etsy. Now I can add discovering Propagandhi almost 40 years into their existence to the list of finally getting to the good stuff. Listening to them now with their sometimes politically charged, always tongue-in-cheek style and heady lyrics that remind me of Crack the Sky but with a harder rock edge. Being roughly the same age as the two founding members still steering this Canadian four-piece, I get it. With decades comes the wisdom to see through the bullshit and the reflex to lace it with sarcasm.
Propagandhi formed in 1986 in Manitoba while I was still a high school freshman, slinging skate punk anthems. 4 decades later, they're blending punk with prog and weighty post-hardcore textures across 13 new tracks, all in the tidy 2 to 4 minute range. The new record is called At Peace, but the cover is clear opposite. A sprawling 19th century battlefield, bodies strewn, guns blazing, horses rearing mid-scream, the serene titles floating above carnage. That juxtaposition is the whole story, dangling peace while presenting despair, mortality, absurdity, and at least once, an animatronic goat.
Some tracks circle the theme of midlife crisis, like Stargazing and Rented PA. My favorite of these is No Longer Young, which resonates hard with lyrics like, I've been waiting so long, we've been waiting so long, we're no longer young. It might seem I've lost my way, I'm just out here searching, reviving the spirit I had, moving on. Samolesky's drums add urgency with quick snare cracks and mid-paced kick drum punctuation. Guitars from Chris Hanna and Sulyan Hango snarl and grind, bunching into hiccups before resuming a heavy groove, while Kowalski's bass alternates between stalking like a predator and racing forward with teeth bared. Hannah's baritone-rich voice, lived in and edged with grit, carries it all. Let's play a clip. This is No Longer Young.
Reviving the spirit I had, moving on, not returning. I've been waiting so long, we've been waiting so long, we're no longer young. Sorry to hear, my friend, I hope to see you again.
The lyrics are far from radio-friendly couplets. Titles like Benito's earlier work or Prismatic Spray, The Tinder Date, make it apparent right away. The latter is unlikely Disneyland rendezvous that morphs into nuclear blast over the Matterhorn, ending with a snarky shrug, it really wasn't so bad as far as Tinder dates go. This reminds me to swipe neither way, ever. Musically, it begins with air raid sirens, then a crunch-heavy guitar bounces with a full-body swagger. The drums strike like a sledgehammer on concrete, spaced with breaths between smacks. The bass prowls. Vocals drip smooth but stained like mustard on crushed velvet. There's even a storytelling interlude of vocals over strummed guitar before a climactic drum roll erupts under the seductive pole-dancing guitar line. Another standout for me, although there are no weak links on this album, is Something Needs to Die, but Maybe It's Not You. It starts with oily guitar notes played alone, full of reverb and hard rocking shifts. The drums tap in quick, sharp, and nail-biting anxious as one guitar plays long riffs that hang like clothes flapping on a line, while another shimmers out. The series of quick, bleeding guitar notes are catchier than chickenpox in kindergarten.
Hannah sneers. Life is a manic series of deflating failures, before countering with the reminder that everyone carries a gift, not glory or fame, but something simple and essential. The track ends abruptly right after his challenge. You were sent here with a gift. What will you do with it? I think my favorite track is Cat Guy. It begins as a thought experiment. Save baby Hitler or the family dog from drowning? The drums land like someone playing hopscotch in steel-toed boots. A dominant driving thud, pause, thud. Guitars are a little murky and resonant, playing a sly little melody wiggle on a loop as a second guitar bops in with its own different bounce. The bass is a weighty presence, hanging chord with the staying power of a dryer sheet on a sweater. The end ignites in a firework finale style rolling drum burst as Hannah sidesteps the original question by saying he never learned to swim and I've always been a cat guy anyways.
At Peace is sonically divergent from Propagandhi's early days, but not in a way that feels sudden. If you've been paying attention, they've been slowly evolving towards something heavier and more complex while never losing their punk heart. Call it prog punk if you want, though that still sounds like a genre invented by a record store clerk who wants to feel superior. The riffs still rearrange your jawline, and for my doom-loving ears, they perk me up in all the right ways. Somehow, it feels exactly like the music I've been waiting to find. Let's hear Cat Guy.
If baby Hitler and your family dog were both found drowning in a lake, and you could only rescue one, because, well, that's never really been explained.
All right, Deaf Ears 2 is a new album from Beau Anderson. It's an EP called Soundtrack of Letting Go.
After more than 8 years as the guitarist for two regionally and nationally popular bands, 7 Year Witch and The Two Takes, Atlanta, Georgia's Beau Anderson is breaking out on his own. He's bringing all those years of writing, recording, and live experience into this debut solo EP, Soundtrack of Letting Go. The result? A pedigreed rocker with pop sensibilities stepping out from stage right to center, fuzz pedal in hand, armed with a beat you can dance to. And really, who can't relate to songs about how much love sucks? We've all had that toxic asshole who made us scream Jay Giles Band's Love Stinks at the top of our lungs. Sure, asking for a friend.
The record kicks off with Fix It, a fuzz-drenched riff that barely sounds like a guitar, courtesy of a plasma coil pedal, making it sound like a synthesizer mimicking deep guitar riffs, continuing to squelch from one chord to the next. By the time the drums bound in, they're stutter-stepping with both feet, ricocheting off the walls and getting more aggressive as cymbals crash into the chorus before retreating in a simple tap for the verses. An interval of high, distorted guitar notes that meander and echo wave about while the bass keeps the back seat appropriately filthy. Anderson's vocals are melodic, solid, with a touch of effect on the edges. They are powerful and airy all at once, and a tad disgusted as he points out, it comes as no surprise that you're not gonna fix it. He also takes on the Arctic Monkeys' 505 with a sly twist, keeping the slow build tension but trading the original's plotting synthesizer for reverb, kissed guitar, and slow strum. The kick drum insistent beat starts the track's slow build, adding in some low, equally taut riffing. Tight string pluck notes added on continued to build until the track briefly breaks down to a few diminished guitar stabs, quick, almost bashful. Soon the whole track opens up again, drums and low riffs return, cymbals a frantic shatter. Anderson's vocals shift from flat restraint to near fanatical urgency with each chorus repeat. Midway, a trippy detour arrives, a wild, whining guitar riding over simmering riff at low boil, pushing tension higher. Finally, the storm ebbs, leaving only the same lonely, reverb-washed strums we heard from the beginning.
Talk, Talk, Talk is a bit slower, but it's still a crusher. A nasal thin guitar line snakes into the mix, wiry and insistent, before it's swallowed by a mid-paced, head-nodding drum thwack. Cymbals crash in hard and decisive, locking arms with riffs that are low, heavy, and strangely caressing. Curves of distortion that feel like a super freaky trip. The contrast between the scratchy lead and the massive weight underneath gives the track both tension and swing. Something you can brood to, bang your head with, and yes, get those hips gyrating. Let's play a clip. This is Fix It.
It comes as no surprise that you're not gonna fix it. And I feel like heaven is laughing at the boots on the ground.
Anderson's vocals arrive milkshake smooth, thick, flowing, and a little gooey. Layered with other voices, they blend and blur into each other, creating a trippy kaleidoscope haze, shifting like blended images in motion. It's hypnotic. There's a killer moment when everything drops out but that high guitar line and Anderson's vocal before it all mutates into a quick chug, ending in a distorted slide that sounds like somebody just powered down a vinyl record. Then the heaviness storms back in. A few more stop-starts and a funky get your ass on the floor burst of guitar bops clear space for two more chorus repeats. Anderson seductively scalding, "I hope you suffocate for what you done to me, with everything you said to me up in flames. It's all just talk, talk, talk."
My favorite track, probably because it reminds me of Dax Riggs' solo work, A Personal Obsession, As If, slinks in with quick, distorted guitar wobbles, soaking everything in reverb, even the rug. Those tones slow into low electric surges, buzzy, vibrating straight through your mandible. The drums hit with pouty thud of an angry kid bouncing a ball off a driveway, stubborn and heavy. Anderson layers in drifting OOOs, floating above it all, while the kick drum hacks away like a lumberjack at a stubborn oak. The riffs surge, stick out their tongue, and snap back, while the bass throbs in a glorious vibrating hot mess. Over the swell, Anderson croons, "You gave me your everything, as if you were bulletproof. I gave you everything, as if I wanted to." As the track nears the end, the guitar sharpens into a high warning siren, while the drums pound sand in a tense break. Then bang, that super freak guitar struts back in to close the deal, flexing and swaggering like it owns the block.
With soundtrack of Letting Go, Anderson steps out from the wings and straight into the spotlight, not just as a guitarist, but as a frontman, with the chops and the pedals to back it up. The record is fuzzy, hypnotic, swagger-soaked, and tinged with shadow, a set of songs that somehow sound both bruised and danceable. Fans of Royal Blood, Dax Riggs, and Dead Poet Society will feel plenty to sink into, as this is the soundtrack for Toxic X's, Late Night Spirals, and making heartbreak feel downright funky.
Let's hear a little more of Fix It.
It comes as no surprise that you're not gonna fix it. Give me some beautiful, 'cause I'm not gonna die for it.
Okay, Deaf Ears 3 is the new album from Science Man, Monarch Joy. This one threw me for a loop. With a name like Science Man, this was not the music I was expecting. I immediately conjured images of bow ties, beakers, and Bunsen burners. I expected bleeps and blips and lyrics about photosynthesis, gamma rays, and orders of magnitude. A well-placed comma would have acted as if a warning from me. Science, man. Like, why am I so dehydrated after a fifth of Jack Daniels? Science, man.
But there was no warm, respite-providing punctuation to be had. Simply those two words. Checking out their Bandcamp page and seeing they have an album called Science Man 2 made me consider the superhero angle, as it is largely the work of one science man, John Toohill. Perhaps there was a toxic waste-related incident. transforming him from ambitious Uber driver to science man, who uses his dizzying calculation skills and daring hypothesis to invent the ultimate shoehorn or robot vacuum that runs on dryer lint. The possibilities are endless. A cure for ice cream headaches and funny bone bumps both seem like inevitable possibilities. What we do get from John and his ever-rotating posse of band members, this one boasts something like half a dozen guitarists, is manic, noisy hardcore punk of the amphetamine reptile variety, packing in wild tempo changes, moaning guitar squalls, and scowling vocals, intense enough to wrinkle your lab coat. Control collar blast away at near thrash pace, courtesy of drummer Steve, showing remarkable energy and fluidity, while guitars wail and moan and crisscross geophysically. Animals is another speedball, chord changes lickety-split, and John wailing animals like a demented weirdo that just wandered in drinking vodka out of a graduated cylinder. Let's play a clip. This is Control Collar.
The mid-tempo fare may be the most intense. There's a Killdozer vibe to How the Butcher Gets Paid, which makes sense because after all, they did coin the song Man of Meat. It's a lurching riff buzzing in your ear like a wayward funnel. John wailing out of his skulky title over and over again as guitars ping, wail, and study periodic tables. I think my favorite cut is Puzzle Hoax because of its scraping, slashing main riff, Steve's unhinged rolls and fills, and the idea that you get to the end of a 2,000-piece puzzle only to find out that they shorted you a couple, those bastards. At any rate, get over to their Bandcamp page and snag the LP plus shirt bundle for a very tidy $40. I'm planning on picking up some graduated cylinders and maybe some electromagnets while I'm at it, and so should you. Let's play a clip. This is called Nobody Knows How the Butcher Gets Paid. Coming soon, Mark and Stace Opoly.
God only knows it'll be on there. We'd have to, buy a pass to Maryland Death Fest.
Made an inappropriate joke in front of HR. Go back 3 steps.
Successfully hides cooler at concert. Go ahead.
Go ahead, 3 steps.
Yeah.
This is going to shock all of you, but I've actually been reported to HR more than once. Shocker.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to the gang from Sonolith for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. Deaf Ears bands include Science Man, Propagandhi, and Beau Anderson. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
You can keep the bacon. My baby brings home the beer.
Woo!
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.